Hi guys, welcome to Soccernet Weekly. My name is Joba Ogunwale, the editor-in-chief of Soccernet.ng. I'll be discussing with Lolade Adewuyi again this morning, the managing editor of Soccernet.ng. Lolade, how are you doing?
Joba, very well, thank you. Nice to see you. Your face is shining this morning, and I'm happy that we're able to discuss football once again.
Yeah. I think I just washed my face, so that's the secret to my face shining this morning.
It's all good. It's all good. Bright sunny days.
Yeah.
Here, so, the spring is fast giving way to summer now. So it's warm days. Now I'm back on balcony again. It's not as chilly as it was last week. Last week had rains and cloudy days, but now the sun is out and my spirits are lifted. And also by the fact that the Bundesliga returned last weekend, so uh, just raises every. Gives a lot of hope for the world. You know.
Okay. Well, it's still a little bit sunny here, despite the fact that they said there will be a lot of rain this year. But anyways, let's talk about what we are here to discuss. The Bundesliga resumed last week, and you are in Germany also, definitely. I would like to hear your view on what was the reaction like from Germans in general. Was the spirit lifted? What was the reaction from the community to see live football back?
Well, the usual thing you would see when on regular match days with fans in the trains, folks were going to watch Hertha Berlin or Union Berlin in their jerseys. It's kind of more muted because many people are trying to stay safe and just staying at home when they don't need to go out, And the fact that the Bundesliga games that returned were without fans in the stand. So we have had a muted response to it. But generally, I witnessed. I mean, I saw people just wearing jerseys again. But and there's excitement in the local media about the return of the Bundesliga, and it's just part of the narration for German exceptionalism, the fact that they've been able to, work well and reduce the infections, so the fact that Germany has been able to cope very well has helped the return of the Bundesliga uh, ahead of any other country in Europe. So it's good for us, for the country. It's good for the fans that you know people were able to watch football again, but still we're not able to go to the stadium, to spend a day out at the game. So it's still limited how we are able to experience it. But that's from a local perspective here. Tell me how the experience was for you watching it from the other side of the world.
I was not able to see the Saturday games, but I saw Union Berlin versus Bayern Munich on Sunday. Union Berlin had have Anthony Rucha in their ranks,
Yeah.
so it was strange to not seeing fans in the stadium, and it shows actually that match showed the importance of fans in the stadium. Like the atmosphere was boring, yeah, and the football in play also was not really that interesting. But the thing is, it's all actually good that we have football back. At least it lifted the spirit. I think reaction here from Nigeria on Twitter, everybody was looking for streams. It was Premier League before, but because there was no Premier League, there was no football for over 2 months. Everybody was looking for Bundesliga matches to watch. The Schalke versus Borussia Dortmund match gained a lot of attraction in Nigeria. I was not able to see the game, but I followed the updates. So it was a good thing that okay we have football back, and also from the Nigerian players' perspective, Taiwo Awoni scored It was his first Bundesliga goal, and in doing so, he became the youngest Nigerian to score in the Bundesliga since Anthony Uja also scored for Cologne. It was, I think, the break did a great deal for him. Before the break, prior to the break, he was struggling at Mainz, where he's on loan from Liverpool. He has only made, I think, six league appearances all season before last week Saturday. So to get the goal, I think that would do his confidence a lot of good also. So I think it's actually a good thing for him. There were other Nigerian stars also in action. Anthony Uja was in action, as I said earlier, against Bayern Munich. Kingsley Izugbe was in action. He came in. Coincidentally, they played against Taiwo Awoniyi's Mines also. So he came in that game also. So there were a couple of Nigerians. It was actually a bad day for Nigerians in the Bundesliga over the weekend because none of them won. None of their teams won also. But it's a good thing that we have football back. And there were some boring matches, but for someone who has been lacking, who has not seen football for a very, very long time, we won't even care. And we can only hope that, it will get better.
Definitely, I think it was really good for brand building, from a brand building perspective for the Bundesliga. You look at, suddenly I saw live text commentary by the BBC, who normally would focus on the Premier League and only the Premier League. But now, because the Bundesliga is the first professional league to return, they got onto the Bundesliga. So I think it's, a brilliant move for the Bundesliga to gain global traction at this period and global eyes. We're still waiting for the numbers to show that this is what they got on that first day. But it was a win-win for them, and I hope they sustain
I
it.
think on BT Sports, I saw something. I saw a stat on BT Sports in England. I think they said they had their highest number of views in 2 months, even more than the regular normal Premier League game. So I think that's how huge it was on Saturday. Borussia Dortmund versus Schalke 04. Yeah, that was how huge it was. Like, people were waiting for football to be back. Like, we were waiting. Everybody was looking for streaming links to stream because we don't. I think Star Times show Bundesliga in Nigeria, but a lot of people have DSTV at home, so they had to look for streaming links to watch some of these games. So, and people didn't even care about. They just want to see football back, and it's actually a good thing.
It is. I think for a company like Star Times, now is when to put in money into marketing the Bundesliga, especially for the next 8 games, and ensure that people, but they also have digital products. They have their app, which I used, regularly in the past. They can, then now is for time for them to push it and ensure that people download and pay. I think they charge about it's not up to 1,000. I think about 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira monthly for watching on their app. So this is the time to push it, to market it, and ensure that those people who are going to get illegal streams go to Star Times where they can get clearer visuals, better, and even in English, commentary in English for official commentary in English from Star Times. So this is the time, I believe, that Star Times as a brand can push the Bundesliga and really leverage on its return onto global TV screens.
Yeah, that's true. But moving away from the marketing aspect, I would like to talk about Taiwo Awoniyi. I would like to focus on Taiwo Awoniyi. He scored his first goal in first Bundesliga goal for Mainz on Sunday. I think, as I said earlier, the goal would do his confidence a lot of good. But moving forward with just 8 round of games left, I think a permanent move away from Liverpool. You know, he's currently on loan to at Mainz. A permanent move away from Liverpool will do his career a lot of good. Yesterday, he came out to say, okay, he hopes that Jurgen Klopp and other Liverpool coaches are taking note of his performances. I trust that, okay, you will get his chance at Liverpool. I think it's time for him to move on from Liverpool and probably settle in at the club permanently. Yeah, he joined Liverpool in 2015 and he's yet to make an appearance for the Reds due to work permit issues and everything. And him going out on loan to different clubs is not really what he needs at this stage of his career. So I think right now what he really needs is to find a club where he will settle down and stay maybe for like the next 3 years also. And I don't think that will happen at Liverpool. And I don't think that will happen at Mainz either. Because he's played just seven league games, despite the fact that he scored on Saturday. He's played just 7 league games this season. And there was a time Main Sporting director was saying that, okay, they were looking to cut the loan deal short. So the goal will do a confidence for him. I think it will also improve his value, will boost his value, especially if he can continue to score for the last eight or 9 games. But going forward, his future, I think he needs to move to a club where he will earn the trust of the manager, where he will be able to settle in, where there will be like, okay, we need to leave again after just one season. So he needs to find a club here will settle in permanently.
I believe so too. I think it's high time Taiwan Awoni moves away and finds a permanent place. You know, you can't. I mean, I don't see him making an impact, or I mean, not making, but being given a chance at Liverpool. You find even the bench is stacked, not to talk of the starting position, starting 11, you know. So
yeah,
even Divock Origi sits on the bench at Liverpool, you know. So
yeah.
I think he needs to find, just like Kenneth Omeru left Chelsea, he needs to find his future somewhere else, and then ensure that he plays better professional. I mean, finds a place to start his games, and also, I mean, this for me is really key.
Okay. So, moving away from the Bundesliga, uh, let's go to the Premier League. The Premier League launch project will start. Now, they've been training in groups this week. They've resumed training in groups this week. But some players have complained that, okay, they are not comfortable with resuming training, returning to training because they feel it's still not safe out there. For example, Troy Deeney said he's not going to resume training because of his son. N'Golo Kante missed training on Wednesday. A couple of players, Adrian of Watford, actually tested positive to coronavirus. Burnley coach also tested positive to coronavirus. Now there have been complaints from players. Danny Rose came out yesterday to complain that, okay, Premier League stars are being treated like lab rats. What do you? I have my own opinion actually. I have my own opinion, but I would like to hear your view. Okay, do you think the Premier League authorities are making a wise decision to go on with their plan to complete the 2019-20 season?
Unfortunately, the Premier League is in a place where it needs to play catch up now. Scotland announced a shutdown of an end to the season last week, but the Bundesliga has started again. You know, so the Premier League is in a place where it needs to think. This is the biggest league in the world, the richest league in the world, and suddenly, I mean, you are the biggest league and the richest league, but you are in one of the countries with the worst coronavirus infections in the world. So it is pretty tricky. You know, Germany has the luxury of having a limited number of cases and a great healthcare system. England responded too late to the coronavirus infections, and the prime minister kept it too late until he caught it himself, and then realized that what the country is dealing with is much more than waiting for herd immunity and things. So the Premier League is going to bear the brunt of the healthcare system in England, and so it's normal for players to be afraid. It's the same thing for France. It's normal for players to be afraid because they live among these high cases. They see family members who are coming down with COVID-19, who are dying, who are hospitalized. So it is a very tricky situation for the Premier League. And once it starts, I saw, pictures of Liverpool training, but you realize that if once top players like Conte, and if, one of the top players start, other leading strikers start saying they don't have confidence in the system, this easy alliance could crumble in no time, and then you find more players just say, we don't want to have any part of it. We just want to stay safe, because it's safe. It's when you are safe and healthy that you can play football. So it's important that England gets it right. It's important that the Premier League gets it properly, but the focus is still on how much you're going to lose if we don't complete the season. You've gotten advance payments from the broadcasters, from sponsors, from all these people, and then suddenly you are faced with £1 billion in losses. So it's pretty tricky, So, but England is somewhere I'm keenly watching, and with people like Troy Deeney speaking out against, coming out to play at this time, it can go a long way to harm the Premier League from coming back.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I agree with you, and I share the players' concerns that have complained about. Okay, it's not safe or something, but I think they need to. We need to be realistic also. I saw something in a post that I read yesterday. I saw something that the Premier League will lose about £1.2 billion if the league is not completed. You tweeted something. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday that sport is set to lose about £20 billion, $20 billion in sponsorship and marketing. You understand? Now, taking a look at these things, you think that okay, it affects the clubs only, but it does not affect the clubs only. It's like a ripple effect. If these players say okay, they are not returning to training, okay, they don't want to return to training, blah blah blah. The clubs can continue to pay them for a job that they are not doing. If the club continues to pay them for a job that they are not doing, and there's no revenue coming in, there's no money coming in, the clubs will run into administration. Now, we are looking at it from England's perspective alone. The Premier League is a global brand. Now, take a look at Africa, for example. There are some people that, okay, their daily feeds, their daily needs depends on the Premier League restarting, or let me say football in general restarting. For example, someone who has a viewing center that needs the money he gets from the viewing center to maybe to feed his family and all that. Now you understand that okay, the last 2 months must have been struggling, must have been a struggle for him also. Betting agencies, betting sites, you understand that okay, people go in there every day to bet on these games must have struggled a lot. Like okay, they must have been hit hard. Now, this thing means that staff, workers in these organizations are being laid off because money is not coming in, money is not being generated. And the only way money can be generated is if football comes back. And these players are complaining that okay, it's not really too safe. It's a hard decision to make, you understand? Yeah, fine, it's a hard decision to make. The the coronavirus was not even up to a month. The league was not even up to a month before Liverpool and Tottenham placed their staff on follow. For although they reversed the decision and following public outcry, if football, if the Premier League return is delayed, like let's say okay, it is delayed, we don't resume in June as they plan to. How long before the club decided that okay, no, we can't start paying the staff because we are no longer generating money. So these are things that okay, we need to put into consideration. You need to consider that okay, this is more than the players alone, the player safety alone. This is also about okay, the fight for survival for some people, for some business owners, for bars, for people who are for betting agencies, for TV people, TV owners, you understand? So they need to consider some of these things because it's like it's a ripple effect. Now they are saying it is not safe to play right now. What if the situation remain the same to like this till next year? Are we not going to have football till next year? You understand? So these are things that they need to consider. And if you are saying it is not safe if it's not safe to return, what about other workers in other professions, the drivers, the contractors, all other people, okay, who have resumed work? Okay, is it safe for them to return to work? You understand? It is a hard decision, but the thing is, we've not seen this kind of situation before. It's an unprecedented situation. But whether we like it or not, we need to find a way to adapt to the situation. And if we are going to adapt, football also needs to adapt. If life is going to adapt, countries are starting to open up, okay, these lockdowns gradually. So football also needs to find a way to adapt. And the Premier League authorities have made Premier League authorities have ensured that okay, these players train in the safest environment as possible. Fans won't be allowed into the stadium. I think what they are doing in England is not really different from what they are doing in Germany. But I think because the German government handled the coronavirus situation early, like they handled it perfectly. I think that's the only difference. But they, they are training in the safest environment. They are observing the social distancing protocol. They are doing strict testing for players and members of the team. So I still don't understand that. Okay, why they insist that okay, it's still not. They don't want to play. I understand the risk involved also, but we can't continue to live like this because in a report by United Nations, they said hunger is actually more deadlier than coronavirus in some parts of this country. You understand? And they should look at some of these country people that need football back to have a means of survival. So I'm looking at this from the broader perspective. So I think they need to find a way for the Premier League to resume. Some people have been saying that okay, we should cancel this season and start the next season. Why will you cancel something of that's almost 100% completed and start?
Okay, so I mean, I think your submission is really interesting. You are looking at it from a global perspective, from the value chain of football, which is important, which is legitimate. I know, businesses that are tied to football, that are tied to the Premier League and things, and I know how everybody's struggling, including us as a website. But when it comes to life and living, I remember this quote by Jose Mourinho some time ago. He said he doesn't understand. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I don't exactly remember how he said it. He doesn't understand why footballers and coaches are being like worshipped, and their words are like basically being held in high esteem when we should be worshiping, or I mean, being treating doctors in the same way, or better than footballers and coaches. So when it comes to the thick of things, life is what we've seen so far as the most important. No, not football, not sport. In normal situation, sport, business will thrive, but in abnormal situations, this is what we will face. And especially you look at how the UK has handled the coronavirus. It is what is responsible for this situation with Premier League players. There are two clear examples: England and Germany. Germany did what their leadership did, what they had to do early. England was playing politics with it. No, we will wait. Maybe everybody will catch it, and then we will develop herd immunity. And then the health system is just suddenly full of of people who are unhealthy and being bogged down by the virus. So it is not the fault of the footballers who say they don't want to go to play. It's the fault of the system of the country in which they live in. So when
Okay.
they want to stay safe, when they believe that they are not ready to go back, you can't force them. You understand? So for me, when the German system said they wanted to go back to play, players didn't really, major players didn't say they weren't going back because they wanted it, because they felt good enough to go. Like there's things, even during the thick of the coronavirus, there's a construction going on of a mall in my neighborhood. The construction went on every day because generally people were more healthy than in other parts of, many parts of the world, because of the way the government has handled things here. So the way the players of the Premier League are reacting to returning is because of the peculiar situation that England has found itself. I read was it a Financial Times article recently that English exceptionalism is now a thing of the past. They boggled Brexit, and now they boggled COVID-19, and you realize that it is England, or the kingdom that once ruled the world, the kingdom where the sun did not set, because at one point or the other, one part of the world was ruled by England, is no more. English exceptionalism is no more, and it may affect the Premier League. You see, it will most likely affect the Premier League. And before I even go further, I read another. We've all been following all these things. The Barcelona has the biggest wage bill in football, and now they may go into bankruptcy because of all these things. We have to rethink how football is played, how the finances of football is managed. So if footballers say they can't trust the healthcare system or the measures put in place, then the governing bodies need to do better for them, to bring them to a place of ease, to ensure that they come to a place where they can play. It's not much about if you in the other part of the world can make money from it, but if the players get ill and they die, or they take illnesses back home to their families, who knows what could happen to them, So we have to consider many things. And then the other part I read from a Bleacher Report article is potential for football or for big sports going to maybe Australia and New Zealand to play once those countries have a go ahead, full recovery, and then clubs can fly in, maybe quarantine for 14 days, and then play their leagues. So there are many possibilities that will happen, but the whole world, we are trying to figure out many things. And football at this time is the least of the worries of some players. Granted is the fact that they made some money, they can keep their families in a good place. But also, they want to stay alive to spend their money. You can't argue against that.
No, yeah, but the thing is, they are actually saying this because I'm not dismissing their concerns. I understand their concerns, but they are saying this because they are actually in a privileged position. What about people who need? That's what I'm saying. That okay, what if this thing does not change, remain the same way until next year? Are they going to say, okay, we are not playing football until next year? Because this thing, I'm not saying it is, this thing is, coronavirus is bad, it actually was also. But people losing their job, going hungry, you understand, also is also bad. So what I'm saying is, football should find a way to, other parts of the society are finding a way to live with this situation. Why is it that football can't also adapt to the situation by ensuring that okay, the necessary safety measures are put in place? England treated it as in handled the situation badly, but Italy also handled the situation badly. At the point, Italy was the European country with the highest number of casualties, and followed by Spain. But I think they've been able to handle, solve their own situation right now. No more new cases, I think. And they plan to resume their league also behind closed doors. Italy and Spain plans to resume their leagues behind closed doors. I think what has contributed to this also is that the way the English media has feeded people the narrative that, or fed people the narrative that okay, it is also not safe to return. Understand? Because I feel if Germany, if Italy, if Spain are planning to resume their leagues, and the safety protocols are being observed, I don't think there's no reason. I don't see any reason why the English Premier League should not resume also. The English Premier League needs to resume also, as long as okay, the safety measures are being put in place. I'm not dismissing the players' concerns.
What you need to realize is it's out of when players see people around them lose their lives, lose their health to something like this, they have a right to be afraid. They have a right to make the decision to go back to play or not, and it's because it's their reality.
But they still want to play, earn money. Okay, why not playing also? Although Deeney said, okay, he is not worried if he's not paid. You understand? But other players have not said that. So you don't want to play, but you still want to continue earning money.
Well, that's not a dilemma for the players that don't want to play. Should they continue, and then the clubs can decide, okay, we're not going to pay you if you don't come to training. And if the player says that's fine, then they have the right to. If they say, okay, I don't want to play because I want to stay safe until everything is fine. So, but eventually we'll see how things will go, and I'm sure we'll be able to. The Premier League may return. I mean, right now, I just hope that everybody maintains their best health and stay safe. Because if we lose footballers' lives, then what's the beauty of the game? You understand? So that's my own.
Well, the thing is, I'm glad I'm not the one making these decisions, because it's actually a tough decision to make. So I don't have to be the decision makers. But anyways, moving away from the coronavirus situation, and let's go back to a segment called the flashback moment. Now, I've been thinking, I was just thinking about Super Eagles have played against some opponents in the past. Now, you've seen some of the Super Eagles games live. I would like to ask who are your top 5 opponents that you've seen that the Super Eagles Nigeria has faced?
I mean, it's a good flashback moment for us to look about at these things. For me, I mean, my top five players that we faced in recent times when I've been covering the Super Eagles would be 2008. I recall watching the Drogba in Sekondi, Takoradi during the Africa Cup of Nations in Ghana, and I was mesmerized by his aura. You know, I recently tweeted about his personality.
Yeah.
You know how he carried his fans, and they beat us that day. He was one of the toughest players that I think we faced in that championship. And also the second guy would be Michael Essien. Michael Essien's Ghana in 2008 in the quarterfinals. They beat us 2-1, came back from 1-0 down. He equalized, and I think Junior Agogo was the guy that scored the winning goal for them. Michael Essien playing for Ghana was, you know, at the top of his game, was one of the, you know, worst nemesis we faced. The other guys, I would say Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi has been
Uh,
a nemesis for us.
Nemesis,
Yeah,
even from
nemesis
under 20s.
from under 20s, and I watched him play twice against Nigeria, and both times he scored at the 2014 World Cup, where he scored twice in a 3-2 defeat, and also at the 2018 World Cup, where he scored once at the opening goal in a 2-1 defeat. You know, so for me, Lionel Messi has always been a pain in the neck, a thorn in our backs. You know. I think also watching Luka Modric in the opening game of the 2018 World Cup, you know, were
Around the strings,
in
around our midfield.
yeah, in Königsberg was huge. He was unbelievable. You know, I before the game started, while they were warming up, from the stands, I tweeted. I mean, I took a short. Was that? It was a photo or video. I took a photo and tweeted that this guy is one. You know, just seeing the way he was handling the ball, passing to his teammates. I just felt mesmerized, and he true to that, he went on, scored against us, led his team to a 3-0 win, and they went on to the final of the World Cup in 2018. You know, you watch some players and you say, wow, wow, wow. You know, I watched him twice during that World Cup. I watched him against Russia in the quarterfinals as well. So those four players, I would say. And then recently, I didn't watch this one, Algeria, Nigeria in what do you call it, in the
2019 African Cup of
2019
Nations.
Africa Cup of Nations. I think Riyad Mahrez was exceptionally great for that team against us, and I think he would make my top, even though I didn't see that game personally, physically. I wasn't there, but I mean, I'll just add him to my top five opponents that Nigeria has faced since I started, you know, covering football.
Well, for me, since I can remember, I started watching football. I think I'll pick Raul Gonzalez, number one, France 19th. I remember coming into France 19th. I think he was arguably the best striker in the world then, after Ronaldo de Lima. And so I remember that, okay, they were saying, okay, we were playing Spain in the opening game, and they were saying, there's this guy, Raul, blah, blah, blah. And even though we won, Raul delivered in that game. He scored a brilliant goal. So I think Raul Gonzalez will be my number one pick. Then I'll have Lionel Messi also. As you said, he has been a nemesis even since under 20, since youth level. Scored twice in the I think the 2005 World Youth Championship against the Flying Eagles. That game was very, very sad. Like, it was a disappointing result for us. that day. So Lionel Messi, I remembered his battle against Vicente Nyama at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. And I actually don't even understand why we always get to play against Argentina at all every World Cup.
I
I
mean, we
think
played against Argentina in 5 out of our 6 appearances, so
yeah,
it's
yeah. So I think Lionel Messi. Then for the third one, I'll pick another Argentine also, but this one was from the 2002 squad. Ariel Ortega. Ortega was brilliant in the opening game against Nigeria at the 2002 World Cup. Group F, yeah. I remember that day. I go to normally I attend second service on Sunday, but that day I had to attend first service just because I want to watch the Argentina versus Nigeria match. And I was actually I think Gabriel Batista or I'm not sure either Batista or Sorin got Argentina's
it
goal.
was
But Ortega was
Batistuta. It was Batistuta
yeah,
header. Yeah.
but yeah, Ortega was brilliant in that game. Like okay, our defense, our midfield had found him difficult to mark. He was brilliant that they saw Piqueriel Ortega. Then fourth, I will say probably Samuel Eto'o also. Yeah, Samuel Eto'o. He didn't do much though, but in 2004, I think he scored against us, even though we won also. So I would say Samuel Eto'o. Then five, I'll probably say Didier Drogba also. I actually didn't remember that we played Cote d'Ivoire in 2008. The one that I remembered was 2006 semi-final. Yeah, I remember I was still in secondary school then, so but I remember that I left school around 2 or so then to come and watch the match at there's a cyber cafe around my area then. But it was not comfortable watching the match. And Vega stuck a dagger into our hearts. I don't know if it was Ena Carey or Ena Iwe. I've forgotten his name.
Enakire or something. Yeah.
Yeah, Ena Iwe. I think it was our fault for that. It was a long ball, Drogba controlled. Ena Iwe missed the other, Drogba controlled and finished perfectly well
Yeah.
into the corner. So I think those are my five. Raul Gonzalez, yeah. Then I'll never even mention to this guy also, Henry Klassen. Yeah, Henry Klassen. He scored
Again.
twice against us at the 2002 World Cup, Sweden versus Nigeria.
Yeah.
So Henry Klassen also. Yeah, so I think those are names I would say, okay, not necessarily the best players, but I think they they stood out for me because of maybe the goals they scored and some and things and their performances against us. So I think those are the names I would say okay, they are
Yeah,
best players.
definitely interesting selection, and we can ask our viewers to share their own top 5 opponents of Nigeria that they recall, in the comment section, so that we get the engagement coming. So, viewers, please share your comments with us, your thoughts on this top 5, our top 5 selection of greatest opponents that we've selected. So. Joba, let's round up. So we look forward to
Yeah,
seeing more football this weekend in Bundesliga, and
yeah, but
hopefully your Premier League returns. But I don't know.
hopefully,
I
hopefully,
don't
well,
care.
even if Premier League does not return, the Serie A and the La Liga, the Italian Serie A and the Spanish La Liga plans to return next month. So we'll have football back, like football back fully next month. But I hope Premier League returns are also because there's this selfish interest also for me as a Liverpool fan. I feel it will be a sad thing if the league is voided or maybe cancelled
I
because
know,
okay,
I
we're
know,
about to
I
win
know.
our league.
It
Because
wouldn't be great justice to end the league,
mm,
abruptly like that. So I hope that Liverpool comes back and really, they achieve this title
yeah,
on the field. It'll be great
yeah,
for them. Yeah.
yeah. So we're looking forward to the Bundesliga matches for this weekend. Bayern, Borussia Dortmund, Leipzig, a couple of other teams all the teams are playing this weekend. So we'll be back again next week. Thank you for your time, Lolade. I'm sure we'll be back again with more interesting topics next week. Goodbye,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you, Joba. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.